Let's talk about the main window and the top level, because these two things kind of tie into each other. So in the main window, it's fairly simple to see. We have an application lifecycle, and in code, you can see we have this application lifecycle as part of the template. Now, what we do by default is, if it is a classic desktop style, which it is because we tell it to be so in the templates for desktop apps, we then set ultimately the desktop's main window. And that's all this article is really referring to, is what becomes the main window. So in classic desktop applications, that literally means the window. So this browser, for example, this is the main window of the browser right now. In Avalonia, if we were to launch this application, then the main window becomes this top level window. As we know in desktop applications though, single applications can have multiple windows. So it's not always that there's one window, one has to be the owner. And the purpose of the main window, realistically, in this context, is to determine at what point we kill the application, when it's finished and done. And by setting up a main window, and it being set up in the default setup right now, that is how this behaves. The application will close once the main window has been closed. So we can observe that if we spin up the application and open up force quit would be a quick way of seeing. And if we then close this, you can see that Avalonia application disappears right away. Now we can change that behavior easily. So we have access to the desktop here. So if we just went into here and said desktop.ShutdownMode, and this is defined by default on OnMainWindowClose. This means that if we have three windows, if we spun up another window, but then we close the main window, all those other windows would get killed and closed. The other option is OnLastWindowClose. So we have a multi-application or a multi-window application and multiple were open. None of them are technically the owner of the end. It keeps a list of active windows and only closes when they're all gone. But for our example to show the difference, let's just set it to explicit shutdown. And now you can see if we ran this application on Windows or Mac, it will spin up now. And the only way we'll notice is if we keep this open here so we can see. And if we close this now, you can see the Avalonia app is still running. Now, if it wasn't for this, we'd be wondering, well, where is it? It's gone. And you'd just be unaware. On Windows, that would just disappear. On Mac, we still have an icon in the dock, so we can right click and quit to close it. But on Windows, that would have been a completely hidden closure where the application is running in the processes still, but doesn't die. And that gives us control here then to explicitly do desktop.shutdown when we want to actually shut down the application.